All right, we're just about to get started. We are now broadcasting. Welcome, everyone. We'll give people a chance to join in on our webinar, Brain Fitness webinar for creativity and innovation and solutions for stress. Okay, I see the numbers growing. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. It's great to spend this time with you. Okay, welcome. Zoom is a busy platform these days, so I know it can take a few minutes for people to get on, get organized. So while we're just waiting to begin, I invite you to get yourself a glass of water, maybe a notepad if you like. There will be a recording, so that will be available to you to rewatch, or for those who couldn't make it live at this time, they will be able to watch it later. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is great. All right, just going to point out that I'm not going to be using the chat box at the moment. There we go, because we're just getting this technology set up. But at the end, if there's time, I like to have a Q&A, and then we'll open up the chat box. So I'm just going to turn off my phone so we're not interrupted. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh, I'm going to grab my water bottle. I'm suggesting people do that. I'm going to get mine, just one sec. Okay. Great. Okay, once again, welcome everyone. It's so fantastic to spend this time with you. I hope you're doing well. You know, we're in a very interesting time here, and I just really hope that you're taking good care of yourself and investing into opportunities to learn on platforms like this, because now that everyone's home more often, some people are looking for things to do, and this is a great way to spend it. And although I'd really prefer to be in person with you, being together like this is also a fantastic option. So yeah, I was really delighted when I was asked to participate again in World Creativity and Innovation Week. My very first time participating was 15 years ago, a decade and a half ago. And I was actually pregnant at the time. And oh, good. I can see you too. That's awesome. People are tuning in, and that's great. Okay, so basically I was pregnant. I was in my second trimester, just starting to show, and I was on breakfast television. So there's a clip actually on my website if you want to see it. If you go to jillhewlett.com, you'll be able to see that clip in the media, under the media button where there's resources, and you can watch that clip. And I was also one of the speakers on the circuit. So I shared brain fitness at the ROM, the Royal Ontario Museum, and at the CN Tower. And it was a lot of fun. It was fun. This is such an important initiative. And there's a few things that stand out to me, but when we invest into practices that allow us to be creative and innovative, we become more alive. And we feel more youthful at every age, and we're more able to problem solve. So the list goes on, but those are three that stand out to me in particular. So today's session is definitely geared to creativity and innovation, and we're also focusing on solutions for stress, because there's no doubt about it, we're in a bit of a stressful, interesting time with this COVID situation. And there are things that we can do to move ourselves from stress to balance, get ourselves back into a more clear place, a more optimistic place, and actually allow us to take more inspired action. And I think that, you know, that's something that is all available to all of us, and that's in our sphere of influence. And so we may as well get on board and do our part. You've got this. So I'm curious how many people have heard of brain fitness before. There's a raise of hand button, if you see that along the bottom or top, and you can click that. Excellent. Okay, people are raising their hands. So if you've heard of it, great. If you've heard me speak before, awesome. I'm happy to have you back. Always great to have familiar faces. And I welcome all new people too, because this is such an important and useful concept. And you know, it really pertains to all areas of life. So the gist of it is this: brain fitness is about creating a fit brain and a fit life, because it doesn't just work on our mental intelligence or mental acuity and mental agility and performance. It is also about our emotional balance and vitality, our emotional expression, our physical health, our immunity, our strength, our flexibility, our resiliency. And it's also about our overall functionality, so we can function at our best. And that's, of course, changes day to day and moment to moment, and it's different for each person, but it's really about cultivating your own brain and life fitness. And results are amazing. It is so worth your time and effort. It's not that hard to do, and the payoff is really tremendous. So on that note, are you ready to engage and learn some brain fitness? You just raise your hand again. If you have the reaction button, I'm not sure if that's available on this setup, but there's also reactions like thumbs up or clapping hands. If you have those reaction buttons, you can use those too. Okay, great. Well, I'm ready as well. So I'm going to recommend you grab your family members, get them on board here. This is for all brains, all bodies, regardless of age or stage of life. Let's all get our brain fitness on together. Okay, so a key thing I want to mention is that your brain, in any kind of learning situation or life situation for that matter, can only absorb what your butt, I'm going to say it, your butt can endure. So in a nutshell, if you're just sitting around too long and you're getting numb bum, you're going into screensaver mode, your brain can't function at its best. And what I'm hearing a lot of people saying is that since this self-isolation period, they are sitting a lot. You may be able to relate. You're sitting on your sofa, watching TV, you're at your desk behind your computer for more hours now. People are working from home, working remotely. That's what's happening. And even just to sit down to eat meals and then laying down to go to bed. So a lot of people are sedentary right now. So unless you're getting up intentionally to move around and go for a walk, then most people are sitting now more than ever. And there's so many reasons why that's not healthy, but we'll just talk about it from a brain perspective. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And that's not just about exercising our thinking, that is about our motor and physical skills as well. Because whatever we do to our body, we're doing to our brain. So you move and activate your body, you're stimulating and activating your brain as well. So I think you get the gist here. So we are going to start to do some brain tune-ups simply by doing some basic activities that require the body to be engaged. And in turn, we're going to create some awesome mental and cognitive responses. So the first thing first, I want you to be in the driver's seat. I want you to put this to the test. So let's notice. Let's take a moment just to notice things like our breathing. No judgment, just be curious. What's it like to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth? What's it feel like as you're breathing? Is it strained? Is it easy? Had you not noticed before? Now you're starting to get like some information. Notice your posture, how you're seated or if you're standing, what that's like. Are you tight in any area? Do you feel any tension? Are you sitting more to one side than the other? Just once again, do a scan, just be curious. No need to judge yourself. We're just gathering information. And then the next one would be your energy levels. Where's your energy tank? Okay, if 0 is empty, 5 is half full, and 10 is fueled up and raring to go, where is your dial? Okay, let's just check in on that. No judgment, just be curious. I did a post today on Facebook saying, I think curiosity has become our new human superpower. I'm loving how people are getting excited about asking questions about their health, even about the politics that are going on. Just this whole situation is getting people kind of like, we're becoming more informed, and it all stems from being curious and just looking more closely and asking questions. So we need to do that about ourselves too. On a regular basis, we need to check in and see where we are at. So if we need to, we can readjust and we can redirect our system. So the activities I thought we'd start with, number one, super easy, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, this time really intentionally and slowly, okay? And as you breathe in through the nose, I invite you to lift your tongue and put it behind the front teeth to the roof of your mouth, like that, okay? So in through the nose, tongue up. That's going to help give an extra stimulation to your brain, because when you breathe in through your nose, you're sending a direct oxygen supply, energy supply to your brain. Amazing. The tongue there is a very calming and soothing point in the system, and it centers us. So breathe in through the nose, tongue up, out through the mouth, tongue down. In through the nose, tongue up, and tongue down. And just continue that, okay? Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to invite you to add in some body movement, okay? Because we want to couple our breath with our movement patterns, okay? So that they're working compatibly, okay? And so breathing in through the nose, let's lift the shoulders up. Out through the mouth, shoulders down. Breathe up. And you're going to re-educate your shoulders then, and you're going to release tension from all that sitting, okay? And then let's just go into some nice relaxed breathing and shoulder rolls. So what we're doing is changing our posture, which affects our sensory system and our nervous system and our brain. So I'm sure you've heard of that before. When you sit up straight, you're going to feel and look more confident. You'll actually have more energy, and your attitude will shift as well. Shoulders up and back. Okay, there we go. Nice. And now we're going to do an activity taken from Brain Gym, one of my favorite brain fitness strategies, and it's called the thinking caps, and it's from Dr. Dennison's Brain Gym menu, which I'll tell you more about when we go into the webinar further. But just to get you started on this, thumbs to the front, fingers to the back, you're going to roll your ears out bit by bit, going around the rim, right down to the lobes, around any earrings if you're wearing them. You're stimulating over 400 pressure points as you're doing this. Starting at the top, rolling around bit by bit. Great, your ears are going to get a little redder, warmer. It's circulation, that's great. You know, stimulating over 400 pressure points that are related to your whole system is very energizing. And at the same time, it's very calming too, this nurturing activity of rolling your ears. There's self-care involved in this, and automatically you might find as you're doing it, you want to yawn because there's some relaxation that comes along with it. So you're breathing, you roll your shoulders, massage your ears. Okay, and last but not least, what I'm going to have you do is some side-to-side motion, opposite hand to opposite leg. If you're seated, you can just bring your opposite hand to your opposite thigh. If you're standing up doing this, then it's going to require a little bit more balance, so just be careful, but it's the same idea. You can start by not lifting your leg up much until you're on one leg at a time. Great, okay? Now, something fun to do if you have a partner there with you, your children or friend who's living with you, do high five cross lateral motions together, okay? Just high five each other. And while you're seated, but even better if you do this while you're walking on the spot. Awesome. Okay, high tens to you. Good job, everybody. I'm imagining you're doing this, okay? Don't just be watching me. I can't sculpt your brain for you. You have to do it. So get on her, okay? Okay, excellent. So now let's take a moment and see how we're feeling. Let's tune into our breathing. How does it feel? Maybe it's more easy to breathe. Maybe it's more flowing. Just check in what's true for you, okay? What about your posture? Has it changed? You do a scan from head to toe, that tension or any strain that may have been there before, is it gone now? And what about your energy dial? Where's your dial now? Has the tank kind of filled up a bit more? I'm curious, and I want you to be as well, because curiosity is really at the helm of this. And the more curious we are, the more information we can gain, and the more we can learn. So you're on the right track. So let's talk about your brain for a moment, okay? Because ultimately, that's the cornerstone of brain fitness. And we have been blessed, all of us, with the most incredible, powerful, and sophisticated technology on the planet. Okay, it's not your new iPhone or new car or latest appliance. The greatest technology on the planet is between your two ears and wired through your whole system. That is incredible news. Your brain is so advanced because it has a large number of neurons. And so you can guess at the number. I'm going to give you a moment while I have a drink of water, and with yourself or anyone around you, guess at the number of neurons you have. It's a big number, so make sure you best guess a big number. Okay, so here you go. Fasten your seatbelt. It's 86 billion. Yes, that's more than the number of people on the planet multiplied like 12 times. Incredible, right? Large number. And with the number of them and where they're located give us this really sophisticated human advantage. And so it gives us the ability to plan, create, innovate, problem solve, move toward goals, change course of direction, do all sorts of spectacular human things. And all these neurons are working on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're just touching on this a little bit, but you get the gist of it. We have this incredible technology, and we might want to ask ourselves, could we or should we maybe care for it a little bit better, maybe even start to maximize its potential? Well, I'll let you think about that, but I hope your answer is yes, because I'm really keen on that. And I think what better time than now, right? Now is always a great time to start. So who agrees with me? Let's see with a show of hands. Does it sound like a good plan? Yes. Okay, great. So what I find is, and I go out there and I teach a lot of courses, I do event keynotes and half-day, full-day training, and even certificate programs. And what I find is there's a common response to a lot of people as to, well, first of all, yes, this is a great idea. Why not care for my brain and optimize its potential more? And there's a lot of buts. And those come up in the form of things like, well, I don't have enough time to do it. I'd really like to, and I want to make it a priority, but I just don't have enough time. Or another one is, I don't have enough energy. Or I'm just too busy managing various roles that I can't juggle anything else between my home life and my work life. Another one is that I'm simply just stressed. I'm too stressed to do it. And last but not least, the reason is they don't know how. So we're going to clear up that last one for sure, because I'm going to get you on the path of sculpting your fit brain and fit life. Okay, so that is taken care of. That's a no-brainer. And the other areas will improve. You will find yourself less stressed, less out of balance, less busy, less juggling things when you are actually optimizing your brain function. When you're moving from using a limited portion of your brain to your whole brain potential. So just so you know, this is my mini sphere. I have a big one, a really gigantic one that I take to in-person events, but it wouldn't show up well on the screen. So I'm using my mini one that I use usually on TV interviews, actually. So when we're in a limited portion of our brain, everything becomes harder. Everything is more stressful. It's just, we're juggling and we're always at the risk of just like losing control and balance. And yet when we start to implement some awareness and strategies, and that's what brain fitness is all about, we can move into functioning from our whole brain potential. And this is the place you want to be, because life is a lot different when you are operating from this place. So everybody, join me, please. Okay, I want this to be interactive. So put your hands out in front of you. And if you don't want to grow your brain, then just bring them together into a small ball. If you want to grow your brain, then join me in expanding your arms nice and wide out to the side. And take a big, deep breath. Amazing. How good does that feel? I'm really trusting that everyone did this one. But if you're not ready, that's okay. Just sit back and listen. But we are planting seeds here, and we are going to be talking about some more things that you can do that are simple and easy to really care for your brain and really create some new connections and new pathways, because most people are operating from habits, patterns and habits, and they're just repeating them over and over again by default, and just, in the hopes that they'll chip away at their never-ending to-do list and at some point get a chance to take a break. And so if you can relate, you're in good company. But this is the issue, and this is based on one of my favorite quotes: we first make our habits, and then our habits make us. So we are the sum of our daily life habits. And if you aren't happy with the results, if you aren't excited about what's going on, if you're not, experiencing life the way you'd want to be, then we just have to change those pathways. We have to change your habits. So, so let's relate this to now, something that we all have in common, because we all have different stressors, and there's ones that are kind of more common and others that are unique to individuals. But right now we're all dealing with this COVID situation. And so it's something we can all relate to, everyone all over the planet. And so I'm curious, let's show of hands, how many people are finding it stressful? I'm just curious. Okay, people are raising their hands. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. I hear you. I have my up days and my not so up days, my more down days about this, because there's a lot to this, and just having to stay home and not be out there with all the people we enjoy seeing, and even for me, getting to the gym, or going out to socialize with my friends. My daughter's missing her classmates at school. Our family members who you can't even go see. Like, it's really it's tough. You go to the park and people aren't allowed to congregate there anymore. I mean, all the issues. I won't go on and on, but you get the drift, and all of us, many of us, most of us can relate. So would you ever imagined being in a situation like this? I doubt it, right? Like, I doubt, who would have imagined being in a situation like this? And so because of that, most people would not have expected it or planned for it. Yet on demand, we are being forced to deal with it head on. And we are being forced to dig deeper within ourselves to come up with skills like inner strength, resiliency, adaptability, problem-solving skills, courage, even creativity and innovation on demand. And it's not necessarily easy to just up our cognitive game on demand, especially when we're in stress. So that's where the solutions for stress part of this webinar came in, because I really wanted to give you, first and foremost, solutions to reduce the stress. And if we can reduce the stress, then our brain can move from a limited portion of functioning to this whole brain dynamic place where all those inner resources are available to us. And that is a really exciting thing to do. Now, on another note, I see a whole amazing opportunity lined in this. Okay, I think it's the hidden gift or silver lining. It's amazing, because this is the thing. As I said just a few moments ago, most people are repeating the same habits because they're in their typical day-to-day routine and they're caught up on it, like a hamster on a hamster wheel. And so they're not making change. But now we are being forced to make change. I mean, just this unique situation of self-isolation at home is what the majority of people are not used to. So in many cases, lives have been switched and flipped 180 degrees. Kids aren't going to school, people aren't going to work. We're sitting here wondering what's going on. So I'm just curious, raise your hands, how many people here have found that their life is kind of like flipped, like a lot, like maybe even 180 degrees? Yeah, right. Like this is not our norm, and it's not normal. So, okay, so we're in this together. We understand that. So on that note, because it requires us to do things differently to create new pathways, we all have an amazing opportunity to create new connections. And so we can just sit back and get carried away in stress and keep absorbing what the media is saying, which is changing all the time, and just trying to keep up with that information. Or we can kind of turn that down a bit and put the focus on ourselves and start to educate ourselves in new ways, in ways that are healthy and beneficial to our well-being, and implement practices that will calm us down. And I'm going to rhyme off some quickly right now that are useful, and you're going to know them, but it's worth reminding you. And one for sure is, and we're going to do a bunch of integrative movements soon that you'll have more options in your toolbox. But one of them is just getting movement, any kind at all, whether that's dancing in your living room to some music, doing a fitness routine, a yoga routine, getting outside for a walk, getting fresh air several times a day. I really, really recommend it. Drinking more water, staying hydrated. When we're under stress, we need extra water. Making healthier food choices, taking baths. Treat your bathroom like a spa, and instead of taking a quick shower, luxuriate in some bath time. Listen to uplifting music. Okay, there's so many things you can do, but also just taking time to educate yourself will lift your serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter associated with becoming better at something, feeling like you're on your game, you're developing, you're becoming stronger, you're becoming better. So you want to up those neurochemicals. You also want to up your dopamine, and a great way to do that is by giving yourself something to look forward to. So whether that's a special phone call or Zoom time with a good friend, making a special meal, watching a certain movie that you've been looking forward to. I mean, these are simple things, but they will work. They will up your dopamine because it gives you something to get excited about and look forward to. So I think you get the gist. So these are things we can do in the meantime, right? But regardless, I will just repeat this. This pandemic situation, whatever you want to call it, is an opportunity to do things differently because we're being forced to anyway. So why not leverage that, right? Why not, take advantage of it? And you're in the driver's seat anyway of something called your neuroplasticity. You are affecting your brain for better or for worse, strategically or not strategically, intentionally or unintentionally, all the time. No one else can sculpt your brain for you. Neuroplasticity is something, it's a superpower we all have. It's our ability to change our brain throughout our entire lifespan. And so why not, sculpt our brain in a healthier way, in a more optimum way? And a great tool and technique that I share in my brain fitness programs is something called Brain Gym. And I'd like to tell you about that. For the last 15 minutes of our time together, I want to share about this because it's a field of work I've been licensed in for 20 years. And when I first found out about it, it just captured me. I was just like, this is amazing. And it's really been a big part of my personal and professional path since. And to tell you a little bit about Brain Gym and then how you can use this to care for yourself during this time and sculpt your brain and function more optimally, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the background of it first, okay? So Brain Gym was created by a dear friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Paul Dennison. And I'm going to show you a picture here. And this is his most recent book, Brain Gym and Me, Reclaiming the Pleasure of Learning. Okay. And he, Dr. Dennison, just, a little bit about his background. He's considered, he's a professional educator. He has his PhD in education. And he's considered to be a pioneer in applied brain research. Okay, it's basically optimizing neuroplasticity. And he's also a world authority on cognitive skills and reading achievement, literacy. Okay, so this is amazing, right? Pretty cool stuff. But what is especially interesting to note that Dr. Dennison actually failed grade 3. That's right, he failed grade 3 because he couldn't read. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole story. You could read his book. You could go to braingym.com, which is his resource center, and find out more information and get his book. But I will say this, on our Facebook Brain Fitness community page, I'm doing these Wednesday evening story time sessions. And last week, and all the recordings are there. Any of the past lives I've done, anything I've shared is all there, okay? So if you want to join our Brain Fitness Facebook community, just look up Jill Hewlett Brain Fitness Community. You can watch that, and I go into more detail about Dr. Dennison. But the gist of it is that clearly he overcame that issue and went on to become an expert in this field. And his story is really triumphant. It's really inspiring. And it just goes to show us that just because we struggle with something does not mean it's going to be a lifelong problem. In fact, that may be the very area that we're meant to become even more skilled and proficient and then assist others. And so it's something to consider. In any case, while he was on his path to assist children and adults with their learning difficulties and challenges, he came up with a program, and this is the Brain Gym program. And there's a lot to it, but the cornerstone of that program are 26 activities, movement-based activities that stimulate the brain for a whole range of things, including learning readiness, mental clarity, focus, concentration, organization, listening, communication, problem solving, having a more positive attitude. The list goes on, really. And so he has this whole fantastic program that has been used worldwide and is celebrated worldwide because the other thing is it's really easy to use. I mean, it's highly effective, but also very easy to use because it doesn't require any equipment. The activities take between 30 seconds to a minute to do. And even people in the corporate workplace are using it. Not just the classroom, but the corporate workplace and anyone just who wants to improve their daily life functioning. It's now used in over 90 countries and translated in over 50 languages. And it's accessible to all ages and stages of life. So it's fantastic. So we're going to do a bunch of these activities together because what they will do is they will help you mitigate stress. They'll reduce your stress levels. They'll put you back into more whole brain balance and connectivity. You're functioning from here instead of here. Okay, that's where you want to be. And that way you can build new neurons and neural pathways, to your advantage. And since we're at home in this self-isolation, what better time to do that than now? So first things first, a big recommendation in the Brain Gym program before you do any movement activities is that you become hydrated. So drink some water. Toast to you, to your brain fitness, and to the people with you. Cheers to everybody. Water is so key. We are an electrical unit. We have to be hydropowered. I say it all the time, but so many people that I come across are telling me that they forget to drink water. They just don't feel thirsty. It's boring, whatever. But there's no excuse because your system is an electrical unit. And in order for the electrical signaling to happen between your sensory system, your nervous system, and your brain, you need to be properly hydrated. Okay, so your energy level will go up. You'll start to detoxify waste better. You'll have more mental clarity. I mean, it's a really important investment. So drinking water, number one. All right. Now I'm curious, just by show of hands, how many people do drink water daily, especially during this isolation? Is it easier to do, or are you forgetting? I'm curious. But lately, have you been drinking lots of water? Okay. Okay. Some of you. Well, that's good. And guess what? So there's an opportunity here for all of us to drink more water and, get some really quick results doing that. So the next thing is, we did the breathing exercise. We're going to do that again for a minute. I'm going to add another component to it. You're going to breathe in through your nose, tongue up, right? Exhale through your mouth. And this time, I want you to bookend the inhale and exhale with a pause. So in through your nose, pause, exhale through your mouth, pause, then inhale. Okay, so you get the drift. It's hard to do it while talking and demonstrating, but in through the nose, tongue up, pause, exhale, tongue down, pause again. What this will do, this will help broaden and lengthen your breathing. And it'll also help you put it into a more of a rhythmic pattern, which is very, very calming. It will invoke your parasympathetic response, and it will just bring down your heart rate and your cortisol levels, and any inner tension will start to unfurl, unwind. So definitely do it with the bookending for a bit, at least. Give it a shot, and then let go of the bookending of the pause, and you'll just notice that you just generally have a long, deeper breath. So step one. Now, once I said, I said earlier, breathing in through the nose will oxygenate your brain. When you're exhaling, you're releasing carbon dioxide, which is a detoxification. So the inhale and exhale are both important. And the exhale is actually, if you really emphasize the exhale, is where you'll get an even greater relaxation response. Okay. Then we did the ears, right? The thinking caps. We rubbed the ears, top to bottom. Well, I'm going to add on to this one now. So right now you're going to just rub your own ears, top to bottom, massaging them over 400 pressure points. Then, as an additional few suggestions, you can go opposite hand to opposite ear, okay, if that's comfortable. And last but not least, and this is only if you're with somebody who has given you their permission, but you can rub their ears and they can rub yours, okay? That's a wonderfully supportive teamwork brain gym activity. And of course, not everyone likes their ears being rubbed, so ask permission, and doing it nice and gently around the rim, and then a few times, maybe 2 or 3 times. Okay. I'm curious how that's going for you. I would love for you to message me after, send me an email, or reach out on social media. Love to hear how this experience is going. Looking back on it, we could have maybe done it meeting style, but by not knowing how many participants we were going to have, that this would be a more effective way to share this information. But there'll be, since you've joined up for this, you will automatically be getting my e-updates, and that will give you monthly information on fun and easy to use neuroscience, and also let you know about other opportunities to connect and learn. So after we did the ear, the next one is going to be a small circular massage motion on your cheeks. This is called the energy yawn. And you're just doing small circular motions around the jawline. And while you're doing it, intentionally yawn. No one's going to be offended that you're not covering your mouth. You want to yawn here because you're creating more relaxation and getting a greater energy and oxygen inhale into your system. So rubbing your jaw around the whole jawline, yawning at the same time. And just fake it till you make it. And you'll get a nice release in your jaw too, because many of us hold our jaw, hold tension there. You may have been told yourself that you grind your teeth or clench your teeth, especially at night when you're sleeping. And so this will help with that. Okay, then another one we did earlier on was rolling our shoulders. Well, I'm going to build onto that. So we're just rolling our shoulders up and down and around. Coordinating your inhale and your exhale as you do this. Great, feels so good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our arms into a mirroring pattern in your hands where you're making these motions. Doesn't matter what the pattern is, as long as you are they're doing the same thing. So this helps create left-right brain teaming. So whatever you do to your body, you do to your brain. And each brain hemisphere is connected with, associated with an opposite side of the body. So when you're moving your hands together simultaneously in the same way, you're creating this cross-lateral brain firing that gets both sides working, which will move us from stress to balance, because when we're in stress, we downshift into a smaller portion. So this uplifts us, it ignites both sides and gets them functioning together again. And as well, you're getting your left side, your logic side, and your right side, your creative side working together. So once again, you can become more resourceful, more creative, more innovative. So you're doing this activity, hands, motion, whatever pattern you want to do, as long as you're moving. You can do smaller little movements too, and then bigger ones. And you can also do this with a partner. So if there's someone there with you in the space, get in front of each other, put your hands up, and you don't even actually have to be touching. One person's hand here, the other one just, and one person will be the leader, and then the other person the follower, and then you'll switch. And just take your time while you're doing this. It's not a race. You're not trying to outsmart them. You're not trying to trick them. You're just doing it in a pattern that they can follow, so that then you're both synchronized. You're working like a synchronized swimmers kind of thing. You're doing the same motion at the same time. And then you switch over, so it's a real great teamwork activity, and have the other person lead and see how that works. Okay, great. And these activities you're going to keep practicing after we're finished with this webinar. So this is not just the only time. These are giving you some home play to work with. And I will be sending out as a follow-up the recording and also a PDF with some of the activities listed on it for you, okay? Now, last but not least, as we're wrapping up, this one that we just did, I'm going to invite you to get paper and markers, and not right now. This is something you're going to do after the webinar's over. But you're going to take, if you can, 2 different colors, okay? And you're going to get a piece of paper, and you're going to draw a line down the center. And then tape that paper somewhere so it doesn't move around. And then you're going to do the same activity, writing it, drawing it. So you're drawing with both sides of the brain, because my guess, like most of us, is that you have a dominant side, and the majority really are right-handed folks. We have lefties as well. And regardless, whatever side you're using, the opposite brain hemisphere is getting stronger. So let's take a moment here and balance it out by doing an activity that requires your dominant and non-dominant side to work together as a team. So your first challenge is to just do it free-flowing. Your second challenge is to do a drawing, okay? And it can be like a butterfly, shapes like a heart, a circle with a sun. You can even do a square with a triangle on top that makes a house. I encourage you, if you start, you're going to be able to draw, you might start to draw trees and flowers and people and draw a whole scene. Remember, one hand does one side, the other hand does the other. And if you go to our Brain Fitness Facebook community page, you'll see that a few weeks ago, I did a session on double doodles all week where we progressed along, and their videos are there and also the pictures. And if you look in the comments, you'll see pictures that people posted. So I'm going to invite you, please, when you join our community, I warmly welcome you to do it. It's a great group of people. You can then upload any pictures that you might have. And maybe that's pictures of you doing cross crawl with one of your family members, or following each other with the double doodle activity, or even doing it written, and let's see a picture of your masterpiece. And remember, no art background is required, okay? The main thing is that you're participating and doing it. So on that note, I want to thank you for participating, because by learning some new tools, simple as drinking more water, breathing more deeply, and practicing the way I shared with you, and then implementing some of these other activities, you are going to be reducing stress, and you're going to be creating new balanced integrated connections. Thank you so much. And moving into that balanced whole brain dynamic. Okay, and there you will be more creative and more innovative. So I'm going to go to the chat box for a minute here now and see if there's questions. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you as well. Wonderful. Right? Well, when we change our brain, we change our results. And I have found this work to be tremendously life-changing myself. That's why I share it. That's why you can see I'm passionate about it. And hey, this is over 2 decades later that I continue to enjoy sharing it. So thank you for participating. And I will send you a follow-up email. If not today, you will get it tomorrow. And we'll keep the conversation going. Thank you, everybody. Oh, wonderful. Savraj, Mandy, Renda, and everyone else who's joined us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll connect soon.